Today I'll show you how to create this cool accordion effect only using HTML and CSS. To get started, we're going to create a div with the class of accordion. And inside of this accordion class, we're going to create another div that has the class of accordion minus header, and another one that has the class of accordion minus body minus container. And inside of this container class, we are going to create another div that has the class of accordion minus body. So this is basically the setup that we are going to need. Inside of the header, we can basically write any text. So maybe hover me to open, for example. So this could be the text, for example. And inside of this accordion body, we can now use some text. So we could, for example, say, let's use lorem 50 to just create some placeholder text. So now we have those placeholders. Let's start to style our accordion header and our accordion by saying .accordion, and it will have a width of 500 pixels, for example, or let's say 400 for this one. Now we are going to style our accordion header as well, and we'll say that we want to have a font size, for example, of 40 pixels. Now we want to have a font minus family of Franklin Gothic, for example, and let's use a background of white, like so. Then let's also give this some padding of maybe 20 pixels and a border radius of maybe 5 pixels. Let's give our entire accordion some margin to the top of maybe 80 pixels to just make it look a little better for this demo. So now once we hover over this, we want to see this text. So by default, this text should basically be hidden. And once we hover over this text, we want to open the accordion. So what we can do in order to do so is obviously first create cursor of pointer to get this cool pointer effect. Now we are going to go into our index.html. We're going to grab this accordion body container, and we'll target this accordion body container. We'll say that this one should have a display of grid. And in order to make this one invisible, we basically use grid template rows, and we say that the height of one of those rows is 0 fr, so 0 fractions basically. And now we are going to take our accordion body, and inside of this accordion body, we are going to say overflow of hidden, because obviously the overflow should be hidden. And now as you can see, our overflow is hidden. So what we need to do next is basically target our accordion header. And let's say once we hover over our accordion header, so once we hover over this container, we want to target our accordion body container, so basically the body. And we use the plus symbol because we want to use the sibling, obviously, because the accordion body container is a sibling of the accordion header. So we can use the plus sign, and we are going to say grid template rows is 1 fr right now. And as you can see, now we see the text. Obviously the animation is still terrible, so we'll change that next. We're going to say instead of our accordion body container, we'll have a transition of maybe all 0.5 seconds and use ease, for example. And as you can see, now the text slowly appears, but this still doesn't look perfect. So let's say for accordion body container, we also want to use a background of white, for example, like so. Now we also want to use a padding of 20 pixels, but actually, whoops, padding. So, and now we have this padding. Now let's also use a border radius of 5 pixels. And I think we need to put the padding to our hover state, basically, like so. And as you can see, this is basically the effect right now. Let's also use a different font size, and maybe let's use 30 pixels for that one, and also maybe 30 pixels for that one. Let's use 30, 20 top bottom and 30 left right, like so. And now this looks pretty good already. Now let's also use a margin minus top of 5 pixels and margin minus bottom of maybe 5 pixels as well. So now we get this cool effect where we have a little gap between our items. And as you can see, this looks pretty much alright already to me. So what we can do next is we can just go ahead and use this accordion container, and we just add some more containers. And now we basically have those effects. Obviously this still looks pretty bad, so we are going to say that our entire accordion will get a display of flex direction of column and a gap of maybe 5 pixels. And now we have this gap between those items. And now once we hover over the item, we're basically going to open, we're basically going to open one of our containers, and this is the finished result. And obviously you can spend a lot of time on styling, but I think for this demo, this definitely works. And if you wanted to, you could also add like an icon to the right, for example. And now you could obviously also add like buttons or style the accordion in whatever way you'd like. And this would work.